Yo, everybody, what's happening? It's the Don. This is a rant, but hopefully it's a good rant. It's a positive rant. It's a rant about happiness. Rant about happiness because it's something that I like to promote online. But the thing is that sometimes it's really hard for me to really convey the message that I want to share. A lot of times, just because I just don't know how to connect with everybody. I'm good at connecting with people, but I'm not really good at connecting with everybody. You know what I mean? Because everybody's different. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, I'm a very happy person. I'm aware, and I'm grateful for it. And I get a lot of joy from, knowing that I can inspire people to find that happiness for themselves. And sometimes the thing with happiness, man, is that you have to give yourself permission for it. One thing I've understood from a very young age is that happiness is actually a choice. I'm not talking about toxic positivity where you're pretending that everything's going well when everything is not well. I'm talking about the state of happiness where you can still love yourself, respect yourself, and appreciate yourself despite your shortcomings and despite the tragedies of life. It's really tough to get there. And I'm not insensitive to the people who haven't really reached that for themselves, But tell you what, like, one thing about me is that I discovered what happiness was at a very young age. My very first Christmas, I was 10 years old. And I grew up really poor. And I remember telling my mom at 10 years old, I was like, yeah, Mom, why can't we celebrate Christmas like the white people do in movies? I actually asked her that question. What she did that day, she went to Dollarama and bought a foot tall Christmas tree. And she decorated it with her own jewelries. And she put it right next to the radio, and she set it on a radio station that was playing Christmas music at the time. And it's my first happy memory. At that moment, I understood, at the age of 10 years old, that happiness had nothing to do with what you had and, who validates it or anything like that. It has everything to do with who you are. And I can't say I understood it per se with these words, but sometimes in life you understand some deep truth in your heart before you understand them in your head. That's pretty much what that was, you know what I mean? And long story short, I'm now 30 years old. It's been 20 years since that memory. And whenever I feel a very happy memory, or whenever I feel very happy, or I feel like an event is making me very happy, this is the event that I end up comparing it to, because that's the event that really taught me what happiness was, and it allows me to sort of gauge. And you change as a person in life, but it allows me to sort of gauge if this is real happiness or anything else, But the thing is that when you reach a certain level in life, when you receive certain blessings, man, that's the thing. It's like, you got to stay humble, because a lot of things that you receive can be taken from you at any time. You know what I mean? That's, if you guys followed me for years, you know that I've been through these events when you have it all and you lose it all and you have to get it all back again and all that kind of stuff, And what that taught me is that a lot of time, man, when it comes to happiness, when blessings come knocking at your door, you have to give yourself permission to feel it and enjoy it. And for whatever reason, man, when you do that, you sort of like, I think the reason why it's so painful is that you have to give up on the version of yourself that didn't have that, especially when that's all you've known. I decided, like, for myself, that I've worked in media for 10 years. I've pursued this career for 10 years. I'm finally in the point in my life where I can look at what I have and I can be thankful for real. You know what I mean? I can look at what I have and really feel like, wow, like I've worked for this and I've made it. You know what I mean? it's sort of like I said, like I don't. It's not something I take for granted. Like my parents had to sacrifice so much for me to be where I am right now. I've had to overcome obstacles. I've had the thing they don't tell you about success, man, a lot of the time is that you have to overcome your own bullshit. I'm not talking about the lies you tell people. I'm talking about the lies you tell yourself. And that level of self-awareness, man, to get to that, man, it's tedious. You know what I mean? And when people decide not, when I deal with people who don't want to do the work, who don't want to grow on themselves, who don't want to grow and work on themselves, I get frustrated, but I get it because it's not a pleasant experience. You know what I mean? I completely understand. But at the same time, life is also short. And my ancestors, my parents, my ancestors, the people that really appreciate me and love me, they've been through too much for me not to actually enjoy it and rejoice in it when I feel it. You know what I mean? And I hope if you're out here receiving blessings or anything like that, I hope you understand that too. There are too many people that love you and that pray for you and that cheer for you not to actually rejoice in it when you get to in a stage of life where you're blessed. You know what I mean? It's so tough to get there already. Don't make it harder on yourself to actually live it. When it's so hard, when it's already so hard to get it. For me, all I can hope truthfully is that despite my defects, despite my shortcomings, despite my flaws, is that my platform will always encourage people to aim for the highest version of themselves, to aim for something positive, And I don't know. Also to do good, I guess. I was once told that you can't do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. I don't know how much good I can do, but I hope this one works for you. Yours truly, the Don.